Today in the shop we're covering part 1 of my Keepsake box. We'll go over getting the body and trim cut to shape. Let's get started. First I take my cedar stock, a 9mm thick board from my local hardwood supply store, and cut it to length for the box's front, back, and sides. The board is wide enough that I can make use of the same cut for the sides of the lid. Once I have my pieces cut and I've checked them to be square, I'll cut some rabbet joints for the sides on my router. I'd like to do box joints next time, but I need some more practice with those. Next is the glue up. I apply wood glue to the joints and clamp it all together while checking and adjusting to make sure the box is square. The better you do with measurements here at the beginning, the easier of a time you'll have later on. Now that the box is dried, I do the same cutting, routing, and gluing for the lid. When I clamp it together, I'm going to clamp it to the box so that if the box is off of square by any amount, the lid will match it. Now let's look at how I made the top and bottom of this box. My stock wasn't wide enough for my design, so I had to butt two pieces together. To do that, I'll cut out a wide rabbet on each piece and then join the two. When I glue this, I'll add sawdust to help fill any small gaps where the wood meets. With the top cut to size, I route a lip around the edges. Then the top is glued up and the lid is pressed together. We don't need to see it, but I do the same thing for the bottom of the box. The only difference is that I cut the rabbet into the sides, so the seam will be on the underside. The last thing we'll do today is cut the trim. I'm using shedjua, a hardwood native to West Africa. Off camera, I tried to make a simple jig for these pieces, but it ended up being somewhat easier to cut them by hand. Each corner piece requires two cuts. One edge is cut on a 45-degree angle so that it can meet against its partner, and the long face is cut on an angle to produce a vertical slope. This is where we'll leave off for today. Cutting those angled trim pieces was pretty difficult, and I wouldn't want to do that the same way again. Overall, this box is turning out nicely. In the next video, we'll work on the lid's inlay and install a secret drawer. See you then.